and welcome to the Richie Rich Chemist. It's another episode today where we are exploring some extremely trendy job profiles. But before that, I know you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Go ahead, like the video, share it with your friends and colleagues. It will help such content reach larger audience. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Today we hear so much about fancy job titles that say content creation, digital marketing, and so on. Who says that people with a degree in science do not have job opportunities in such coming of age careers? Let me introduce you to Dr. Sandhya Shetty, Marketing Communication Specialist at Merck Life Sciences, Bangalore. Thank you, Sandhya, for joining. It's a pleasure to have you. I'm keen to know, how did you get into a PhD at NITK?
I did my PhD in National Institute of Technology, Karnataka in electrodeposition of nickel metal alloy. Back then, you didn't have to clear GATE or NET exam. So I just gave the university exam and I cleared there. There was a round of interview. We also studied the properties of this electroplated alloys, tested the metal for corrosion, the electrocatalytic property, and also sonoelectrolysis.
Hearing corrosion reminded me of the fun time we had in your lab where you helped me with my PhD as well.
That was a great time.
Knowing you as my junior, you were completely a people person. So is that why you decided to choose a career outside the laboratory?
Yes and no. When I was doing my PhD, there was a mindset that you have to pursue a career in PhD. After my PhD, I was applying for different universities for postdoctorate fellowship and also for some of the R&D companies. I heard back from IIT Hyderabad. The next day, I get an offer from Merck Life Sciences company. I called up my PhD professor. So he mentioned that though I'm good at research, and I've published a lot of papers, my place would be better outside the research lab because I had a good communicating skill and writing skill. That kind of boosted my confidence, and that's when I realized that I can always switch roles and follow your passion. And my passion has always been in writing. So that's how I took up this role as a marketing content specialist in Merck Life Sciences company in Bangalore.
When we think of a company like Merck, which has got chemicals, we think of only roles in the lab and R&D. What are the other job opportunities that people can have beyond the lab?
Ours is basically a life science company. So not just chemicals, we have everything to do with from equipments to chemicals to microbiology products, everything to do with research. We also have a R&D branch. What I do mostly is writing content for the product, for the marketing campaigns. Your subject knowledge matters, even in a field like marketing. And then once you get into a company like ours, you will be trained, not just for writing, a lot of other aspects like importance of having the right keywords and things like that.
That's really an eye-opener. Most of the time, we just fail to see these opportunities.
Yeah, definitely.
What does a regular day at work in a career like yours look like?
You can start your day anytime. It's fun because you get to interact with a lot of stakeholders outside India. So sometimes it's with European stakeholders, sometimes with US. So you have to manage time. Everything revolves around content, product launch, SEO keywords. Since I love writing content, it doesn't be like a routine, boring task.
Yeah, that's a lot we hear about today, that cracking the SEO is the key of digital marketing.
Yeah.
Given that you come from a hardcore science background, how did you manage to upskill yourself to suit this particular role?
You're the one who suggested that why don't you do a training course in science journalism. It was a 1-year online course from Indian Science Communication Society. All the courses which you can get from say YouTube or LinkedIn or even on Google. There are so many online courses.
And only when you do such courses, you realize, am I suited or no? Because they might sound fancy, but you may not be the right fit as well.
So once I got into this company, we had a lot of training courses done. One of the important thing I would want to mention is creative writing, also SEO keyword, Google Analytics, inbound marketing. As and when we advance in our career, we just pick up these courses.
I understand that this is a very interesting career, but what are the advantages and challenges in a job like this?
You get a lot of flexibility. You can work from home. The other thing is you're meeting a lot of people here. I get to meet not just researchers, scientists, and also managers and people from very creative background. You know that the world out there is quite big. So you have to upskill. Marketing field is something we are going with the trend. I also got a chance to travel abroad. I just visited France. We had a team meetup there. Challenges first is to break the mindset. So it can be overwhelming because corporate world can be scary at times. If you are passionate about what you're doing, and then if you have a strong interpersonal skills, command over English, good communication, there's a learning process every day.
Now that you've been exposed to the corporate world, if you had to go back in time, what would you have done differently?
First thing I would do is not just jump into this herd mentality, like the next option is only research. I wouldn't have done PhD, so I was good at it. But instead, I would have done some internship. Back then, we were not aware. Even now, I don't don't see a lot of people opting for it. But then this is something I would do during our summer vacations or right after the MSc. So that will really give an exposure to what corporate world is about. A lot of resources, online resources, especially starting with LinkedIn Learning, creative writing, data science, market research, marketing field, digital marketing in general.
Thank you for being so frank with the fact that a PhD is not a requirement. And that was my previous episode. We have this bubble to be successful. You require a PhD. I think that's a myth, and that myth needs to be busted because we have so many people unnecessarily doing PhD sometimes.
Yeah. There are people out there who have their mindset to do PhD because they're really passionate about research. No, they should go for it.
The other thing we undermine is the power of internships. That's another episode talks about how we can get internships, and that exposes you to the entire world in reality.
Absolutely. In my current company, we offer internship, and there are so many MSc graduates. They come from 3 months to 6 months to 9 months, and if they really do well, definitely they can apply for a full-time job in the same company. That adds a lot of value to your resume.
Given that you are now outside the lab, what core concepts of chemistry do you still use in your business as usual?
As a writer, it depends on which field you are in. Marketing, technical writer, scientific writer. There are also medical writers. So for all this, you need to have like very strong subject to deal with chromatography, spectroscopy, core organic chemistry. But in my case, I don't have to deal with like very core chemistry, core biosciences. The subject knowledge of what I know from science, I studied in BSc and MS, is enough for me to get through in my day-to-day work.
What does career progression look like?
So I joined as a senior content analyst and I became a marketing content specialist. The next big step would be content development manager. You can head a team of writers. If I'm interested, I can stay in the content writing field, people manager, product manager for the line of products we have. The options are plenty. It's just that where you see yourself.
You can diversify so much with
Yes. In research, it's just research. Here in company like us, all you have to do is come out of the comfort zone. Company does provide a lot of opportunity for you, upskill and all that.
That's also the challenge, I believe, with this job, that each time you are exploring a different dimension out of your comfort zone, right? So what are the other industries that have similar rules?
Pretty much every science company, every chemical, every pharma company would need writer in some form, right? It could be scientific writer, technical writer, or digital marketing writer. Just that you need to go out and look for it. And definitely everything is digitalized, so there is a lot of scope for digital content writers. Science being core of it, we have advantage over any other field.
The last question, my favorite one. Since you were a student of Richard sir, tell me what impressed you the most about sir?
I got into chemistry because of Richard sir. The passion he has towards chemistry and the way he simplifies any subject, the way he connects with students and with the subject. He treats everybody equally and he has respect for anybody regardless of their age, gender. If you're a student, you're a colleague, always has a smiling face.
Thank you, Sandhya. It was indeed a learning experience to explore a completely different area. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this will realize that there are so many opportunities, like you mentioned, in the corporate space. I'm sure this video has helped you. So go ahead, smash that like button, and don't forget to share it with your family and friends. I will see you next Saturday. Until then, stay hungry, stay informed.